Welcome all my lovely goblins and ghouls of the internet. I am Hanya, your demonic cinephile, and we are continuing our journey through the Saw films, stopping on Saw V. Saw 5. And a quick tangent, it's like the universe did not want me to watch this movie. It's like every time I popped the Blu-ray in, sat down to watch it, something happened. Got called away, was too tired because of other duties, power went out. It's like a bunch of different things. This made me unable to watch this film. But now, finally put it down. Finally got a chance to watch it. This film has like three different plots going at the same time. But just to get over, we have the opening kill of the film, which most of the Saw films have. Here we got this character named Seth Baxter, who we later find out that he is murdered Detective Hoffman's sister some time ago. And this is a cool trap. I love the pit and the pendulum. It's like this has cool medieval kind of feel to it. And it's nice to kind of see that someone actually does make it through the trap. Like they're actually willing to go through, mutilate themselves to get through it. And you kind of feel bad for him at the moment. It's like, he actually did. Why didn't he get to live? So they find out what the f he did later on in the film. But we get to the actual plot of the film, which takes place. That starts off right at the end of part 4, where you see Special Agent Strom finding Jigsaw's body, killing Jeff. Which, yes, Jeff is dead, thank God. But then we get this Jigsaw tape where John is warning Strom not to go further. Which, is this more proof that John is just an omnipotent god? He's a witch who just knows every little thing. Could they say later in the film, like, oh, he's just so good at predicting human nature? Like, nah, you have to have a little omnipotence for this. Because he tells Strom, like, if you want to survive, don't pursue any further. Just stay here, wait to get rescued. Did John make that tape? Because we later see in the films that this film and probably others, we'll see later on, that Hoffman is able to recreate the Jigsaw voice like on the tapes, but he's able to do it so perfectly. We're not able to tell that when a tape is made by John or it was made by Hoffman. So I wish there were like a little small detail in the tapes where it's like, oh, this one definitely made by John, or this one definitely made by Hoffman. And we get it's very very cool and creepy, a claustrophobic as heck trap where Strom's head is placed into his glass box and he's slowly being filled with water, and he's forced to do a trichotometry. He has to stab a pin through his neck and pull the ink out so he can breathe. We do get a little resolution though to Jeff's daughter from part 3, like, because in part 3 I just say John was being a really out of character a-hole because he left that little girl just to rot in a box. Like, oh no, Hoffman saved her, which actually now that I remember they did kind of hint at in part 4 because he had a little teddy bear with him, like in the opening of that film, but we don't see him giving it to her in this movie. I don't know, maybe he wore the teddy. He used the teddy to lure her into some effed up trap just to knock her out to bring her to the box or whatever. I don't know. Maybe there's a deleted scene. Maybe there's something. But after that, some time passes. We're not. I don't think we're actually told how much time. Maybe like a month or a few weeks. This is where we actually get to the plot of the film, which is split into 3 different segments. First, we got the trap segment where we have this group of 5 people put through a horrendous amounts of sick, twisted games, which is standard Saw stuff. Then we got Strom investigating Hoffman, trying to put the clues together, like how he ties into Jigsaw and Amanda. Third story going throughout the film is the flashbacks to sometime before Saw 1, maybe like a year or so before the first Saw film, where we see Hoffman meeting Jigsaw and Jigsaw blackmailing him and taking him under his wing, making him the first apprentice, to technically the second Jigsaw, because we always assume that Amanda is the first apprentice, she's the second Jigsaw, but no, it was actually Hoffman. Hoffman was with John a while before Amanda became part of their crew. Actually, we're not exactly told how. Maybe we're told later in the other movies, but how much Amanda knew of Hoffman, because we never see them interact. We never even, there's not even like a hint that she knows about Hoffman, except for that letter he put in the drawer for her. But okay, I do want to talk about the first segment, so the traps, the game. Now this one, I like the trap. I like the gore. I found that about each of the characters too too dumb too dumb and idiotic to not put two and two together, that spoiler, that they were supposed to survive each of the traps, that they all work together, and that they were able to survive with very little to no mutilations, which it goes even kind of worse because unlike the other movie, part 4, and here is basically is fully explained that everyone knows who Jigsaw is. Most people know how Jigsaw operated. They know that he is wants to teach people lessons during these games. But one dumb mother trucker, who's actually a journalist who actually knows more about this than anybody else, he's like, no, this is survival of the fittest. We gotta, every man for himself. Like, so you don't know nothing about Jigsaw. John made it pretty obvious in this tape that he's like, you have to work against your nature. But no, they're all too selfish, dumb idiots to figure it out to the very last minute. To be fair, none of the actors in this for these characters really work for me. The blonde girl dies so quickly, you don't get read on her character. Journalist is a perfect asshole who doesn't fully make. Yeah, he has an impression. I like the actor, but as soon as he's gone, it's like, who cares? The two ladies and the main guy, the drug addict, they were great. I really like their dynamic dynamic at the very end, where they realize that, hey, they're all a-holes, that they actually deserve to be here. There's little clues here and there throughout the traps, but at the very end, before they get to the final trap, they all put together that, oh yeah, all of us are here because we all burned down a building and killed 8 people. The real estate agent who wanted it all to happen, so she paid the druggie, or she hired someone to pay him to burn the building. Then she blackmailed or something to the city, the one girl who was part of city planning. Then she paid off the journalist. Then she paid off the crooked fire person who was the blondie who died in the first trap. It's very convoluted, but I do like the actors in this scene, because the guy who plays the drug addict, he's very annoying throughout the film. But in that one last moment where they're confessing their sins, he actually sells it. And it's nice to see in these films where the characters realize, like, yeah, we're awful people. We really deserve to be here. And I like that. I like when we actually get to see people getting punished in these films. They actually deserve punishing, not because they don't fully value their life. John, it, just target more deserving people, and we won't have that much of an issue with you. Okay. For the framing device of the film, where we fall strong, going through the motions and trying to figure everything out, it's a little fun. It's a little entertaining. I don't particularly like Strom's character. I do enjoy the actor. He sells all his confused facial reactions when he's like trying to figure out, like, how does he know? How much did Hoffman tell John about us? Or that one line where he's putting it all together in his head, where he's back at the scene of the end of Saw 3 and Saw 4 at John's bed. He's like, Hoffman was supposed to be the hero. He was the only one supposed to be alive. Like, yeah, we kind of all put that together by the end of the last movie and the opening of this movie. But thank you for um telling us. We really needed that. Also, while he's searching and investigating, we get to where I'm assuming is Hoffman's apartment or home. But when he goes in there, there's this little trap door and there's a little painting and how the wall kind of looks. I think it's trying to imply that Hoffman's house, or at least this house that he entered, is the house from the second film, or at least it is very similar. I don't know what they're trying to apply because it has the same trap door. Donnie Wahlberg's character, his son, went through, eventually led to the tunnels that went into the bathroom from Saw 1. I guess this is a similar house or very structured similarly. I don't know. Now the third and final story arc in the film, the one I had the most fun and enjoyment with, is the flashbacks. I don't know why, but I really love the flashbacks in this film. I love going to see Hoffman getting abducted by John and John taking him under his wing and learning from him. Especially just get more Tobin Bell. Which, bravo. I love every excuse that the filmmakers use to get Jigsaw's character back in these films, that he's technically dead. I really do love the scene where Hoffman is abducted by John. But yeah, I like how is John just standing in the corner, dressed in black, has his little glasses on. It's like he just looks so weird and awkward. I loved it. And I love how John, this old man, this cancer patient, was able to hold Hoffman down long enough to get a needle in his neck and to tranquilize him. But when he gets to John's blackmailing, his indoctrination of Hoffman, I really love it. Because you get a little bit more of, because before this you get a little bit more of Hoffman's backstory, that Baxter, the guy from the beginning, he killed Hoffman's sister. And during Strom's investigation, we get to see the pictures of his dead sister. Was like, okay, one, Strom did not look into police files when he was looking at the sister's photos of the crime scene. He was looking like a journalist, like a news website, and they show brutal photos of her death. Where, yeah, it wasn't an accident. Like, wait, why the fuck are those on a website? If yeah, because I watched the film a couple times. Like I watched him a bunch of times now, so I'm know a lot. I know some details are stuck in my mind. It's like, why is that on there and not like? Why didn't that just point those out as something else? Why is it on the website? But tangent aside, but I do like because when Hoffman is talking to John like about killing Baxter, and John's like, you didn't give him a chance. Like, you didn't see what he did to her. He's like, he's screaming like, you didn't see what he did to her. You didn't see all the blood. But I loved it because Hoffman and his actor. All right, though the actor for Hoffman is Costas Mandylor. Pretty kick-ass name. Not gonna lie. But no, because in all the other movies we kind of see him at this point, he's very kind of stiff. Like, he doesn't really emote a lot. You don't really get to know kind of like what he's feeling or thinking. So when you actually see him kind of break down and yelling at Jigsaw, it's just for a little bit. I like it. Kind of shows that Hoffman isn't just kind of like this robot murderer, which he kind of feels it sometimes because how he's being played or how the actor is giving the direction. I know you take your pick on that one, but I love how Tobin Bell shoots back with that line. Killing is distasteful. I didn't perform as good as he did, but you know what I'm trying to say. But once again, I love because Tobin Bell freaking sells it. To not to compare this to Marvel, but you know how like in the Marvel movies where everybody's like, Thanos is so stupid. He just can double all the resources with the gauntlet. Like, yes, that's true. That is true. But it's not about that. We're supposed to call out how idiotic his plan is. What makes Thanos scary is that how much he believes in his goal, how much that he believes in his plan will succeed. And I want to take it back to Jigsaw because a lot of people always, and I did too, through these reviews, that Jigsaw's stupid, that none of this stuff would work, that he's just a delusional moron, or something words like that. But that's all true. It's not about that John Jigsaw is right or wrong. It's how much he believes in it. And Tobin Bell sells it with that one line, like how much he fully believes and is dedicating to this twisted mindset that he found himself in. Like his conviction in that line, like, just sells it. How much he, like, basically the Church of Jigsaw, like, his word is law, his word is God, and this this tool shed, all these boxes of murder, is the church, and John is the gospel. I don't know what I am saying. I'm just speaking now. I'm just speaking. And I do like how we get to see these little flashbacks between, like, basically like behind the scenes of all of the other movies, with John and Hoffman putting together all these traps. How they found the fat guy and the barbed wire from the first movie. Or them setting up the equipment for the trap house in part 2. And how John's like, yeah, what basically explain why, because I think what I said earlier, that why Amanda was there during the events of part 2. Yeah, she was not a player, but there to make sure everyone followed the rules and provide a helping hand in the right direction. Never to actually try to save anyone. And we got a little fun mentions of Dr. Gordon, Detective Tapp, which I think were nice if you only watched the other movies. Which I feel like we could have got a little more of that, because in the near the beginning, where we got this little ceremony where Hoffman is being rewarded, they're paying their respects to all the deceased officers who died during the past few films. I feel like we could have had a little montage, or at least held on the pictures of all the detectives from the previous films. Detective Carey, her gruesome death, Detective Rigg, which loved Rigg, and Michelson, Donnie Wahlberg's character, Detective Donnie Wahlberg, deserved his own flashback, because he may have been a crooked cop, he may have been a bad police officer. That man suffered probably more than any person in this film, in any of these films. Going through that hell in part 2, to being locked up and abused for 6 months, be held onto that block of ice, has his head crushed. That man suffered probably more than anyone in these films. He deserved his own freaking montage. God damn it. Yeah, but when you get to the end of the film, which was pretty obvious, especially when you pay attention to John's little gizmic of, if you can predict the human mind, nothing's left to chance. Where Hoffman frames Strom into basically setting him up as the false accomplice, so Hoffman can get off scot-free. Which, now watching it like this last time, because I finally got to watch the whole thing in one day, the film got split up for me, but I managed to watch it just for one whole day. This was Hoffman playing Strom, like, not just to set him up. He was doing this from the very beginning, which also goes to show that how flawed. One second. It goes to show that Hoffman and Amanda have the same horrible quality. That even after Hoffman doing all his tutelage with John, that Hoffman and Amanda set up unfair games. That they may care about John's methods, they may care about John as a person, or why he does what he does, but if they want to rig a game to their survival, they will rig it. Though I still want to know, how did Hoffman know that Strom was going to act like an idiot and not listen to the whole tape? Because you watch it in the film, it's very iconic. I still love it to this very day. I still remember when I first watched the shot, which I made to see this one in theaters. like I said, I didn't see all the Saw films in theaters, but I think I saw this one in theaters just because how and great that final shot was. Strom beats Hoffman, throws him into the glass cage, and Hoffman's like, "You didn't," pointing at the tape, like, "You didn't listen to the tape? You didn't listen to the tape? Why didn't you listen to the tape?" And he's like, "Yes, if you do not, if you want to live, go into the glass box, or your legacy, my legacy will become your legacy." He's like, "Listen to the tape." Hoffman knew he'd be so hot-headed that he will only listen to half the tape or not listen to it at all. Because Hoffman kind of makes this noise when he goes into a building, which may have been on purpose. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. But I don't know why Strom's that much of an idiot. But good riddance. It was an awesome shot, awesome scene, great way to end this film. But before we end this, we'll get reaction, review, or whatever you want to call this. We get these two scenes with Jill in this film. So the first scene is a little bit after the ceremony with Hoffman, where Jill is called to this lawyer. She's gifted this iron box from John, and she has the key around her neck. She opens it up, and we look into the box, and nothing. We don't know what's in the box, but just is a big tease. I don't know why. If I remember correctly, the payoff isn't that big and impressive. Then we get to the second scene with her, where she's being interviewed, but where she's not interviewing, she's going to see Special Agent Erickson. She tells him she thinks she's being followed by Strom, which Hoffman set up. I'm not sure how he set up, but it's implied that he set it up at the end of the flashbacks. Also, Detective Erickson. I really do want to mention him real quick because he is fun to actually have a law enforcement character in one of these movies that isn't corrupt or an a-hole. He's one of the few officers who actually seem like a decent person. He ages this film so freaking much for me. Why? Well, I watch a lot of old movies, so I don't really care about outdated things. But not, it's not any of the cars. It's not any of the all the almighty flip phones all these films are filled with. It is his freaking earpiece. He has this Bluetooth earpiece in almost the entire film, and it has the Bluetooth light on, and it's so distracting. It's hilarious because my eyes just get glued to it for some freaking reason. I don't know why. Stupid. Yeah, but that was Saw 5. What did I think about it? I think it kind of goes to part 4, where I think this is one of the more entertaining ones of the films, but I don't think it's the best made film or best acted film. That still goes to 2 and 3. I liked all the flashback scenes, and I liked the trap scenes. Everything to do with Strom, though, I think was too annoying. I think like there could have been a version of the film where Strom just got killed off at the very beginning of the film, and it was nothing but the game and the flashbacks to Hoffman meeting John and his entire apprenticeship. I think that'd been a superior cut to the film. I don't know. Hopefully that could exist in some alternate dimension, but I would never get to see it. I think this film does a good lot to grow Hoffman out, because Hoffman was still a nothing character before this. He only had the one scene in Saw 2. He was present throughout Saw 4. No, he had the one scene in Saw 3. It was Saw 3. He had his first appearance. He kept appearing throughout Saw 4, but he wasn't really a character. He was just stuck in the chair, except for the first and last scene of the film. So here we really get a good lot to show who Hoffman is, kind of give a little, which I think kind of shows him more as the villain of the film. Man, I never was so not sure of Philip Hoffman. Well, I'll see how my opinion changes about him in the later films, but right now, I feel like he's a cool, threatening villain, but he's still lacking somewhat of a personality for me. Yeah, but this was Saw 5. Tell me what you think about it down in the comments below. Did you hate it? Did you like it? Where does this rank in your Saw films? How you rank these films? How do you rank it? High, low, medium? And if you like this film, and if you like this video, please hit that like and subscribe button. I really, really appreciate it. And I will see you all when we get to part 6 sometime soon. Alright, catch you later. Game over.